Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Boutique Bookkeeper Show. When you're in the initial planning and startup phase of your business, I know everything is super exciting and it's so fun to focus on all the, fun parts of starting a business, right? Choosing your business name, figuring out your logo and your branding, shopping for all your first inventory, all that's kind of the fun stuff, right? But there are some very important things that you need to make sure that you do that are maybe not quite as fun, but they are equally or maybe even more important. And today's episode, we're going to walk through 10 things that you need to do when starting your business to help protect yourself and make sure that your business is set up for long-term success. Let's dive in. Hey there, and welcome to the Boutique Bookkeeper Show, where we take the mystery out of your money and make your numbers make sense. I'm Megan, virtual bookkeeper and bookkeeping coach, and I love helping female boutique owners just like you finally feel confident about the financial side of your business. If you're tired of feeling anxious every time you have to open QuickBooks, or if you're making sales but constantly left wondering, where did all that money go? You're in the right place. We'll cover all things bookkeeping and taxes, all in plain English, so you can be less intimidated by the numbers and finally start to use them to help you grow a profitable boutique. So, if you're ready to stop avoiding this whole numbers thing and start keeping more of the money you make, grab your coffee and your calculator and let's dive in. All right, before we get too in the weeds here, I just want to add a little disclaimer that none of this is meant to be taken as legal or tax advice. So if you need further guidance on anything I mentioned here today, please consult with your own lawyer or accountant. But the information I'm sharing here today is just meant to help you start thinking about these things and maybe add them to your to-do list if you haven't already done these things. Ideally, all of these things will be set up before you even open your business doors or your virtual shopping carts to customers, but if you're already in business and you realize you haven't done any of these things, don't worry, just make a note of it, and I recommend you take care of these things as soon as possible. All right, let's dive into number 1, choosing the right entity type. So I always recommend that a new boutique starts off as registering as a LLC or a limited liability company. This just helps put some legal protection in place to protect all of your personal assets, so your personal money, your house, any belongings, in the unfortunate event that someone were to sue your boutique. It'll also protect all of your business stuff, all the inventory, any assets there, if anyone were to sue you personally. It essentially separates yourself and your business and recognizes them as two completely separate things. I recommend working with a lawyer to make sure that all of your ducks are in a row when you set this up, just to make sure that full legal protection is in place for your LLC. And also by setting up an LLC now, it makes it really easy to switch to an S-Corp tax status later on. There are some tax benefits to this. I actually do have another podcast episode related to that. Not a podcast episode, a blog post related to that. So if you're interested in checking that out, it is at findingfreedomfinancial.com/19. And you can check out the benefits of an S-Corp tax status. But for now, when you are just starting out your business, I recommend just starting out as an LLC, just essentially for that legal protection. All right, number 2, get an EIN. That is known as an employer identification number, and it's like your business's social security card. So you're going to need that likely when you open up any business bank accounts. You're going to need it when you hire employees and to file your taxes properly. So it's free to get. It takes about 5 minutes. You do it directly on the IRS website. I can link it below in the show notes, and it takes about 5 to 10 minutes. But please make sure that you are getting this EIN for your business. Number 3. Make sure that you get any required business licenses and permits. So make sure, this will vary depending on what state you're in, but some states, counties, and cities require you to apply for business permits to operate within their borders. So even if you have an online-only boutique that you operate strictly out of your home, still make sure to check with your city, county, and state governments because you still may need to have a business license to legally operate in your home. Number 4. Open a business bank account and credit card if you use credit cards. Otherwise, for sure, a business bank account. So as soon as you possibly can, you want to make sure that you are opening a separate bank account, that you can keep all of your business-related transactions in that account instead of having everything go through your personal accounts. You can take some starter money from your personal account and put it in your business account, but make your best effort to keep all of the business-related money flowing in and out of these business accounts. It's just going to make your life so much easier when it comes to your bookkeeping. Plus, if you have your business set up as an LLC, like I recommended just a couple steps ago, this is actually a requirement to prove that your business is completely separate from you as a person. All right, next, sales tax permit. So to start, you likely just need a sales tax permit or a reseller's permit, some states call it a little differently, in the state that you are physically located in. So if you live near the border next to a different state and you plan to do pop-ups in another state, you may need one in that state as well. Some states offer like a temporary sales tax license where it's only good for a certain day. All states are kind of different, but likely to start, you just need a sales tax permit in the state that you are physically located in, and you will only need to charge sales tax to customers that are in that state. Sales tax is undoubtedly one of the most complicated topics that come up when you talk about retail bookkeeping. So if you need a little more information on sales tax rules for your boutique, I have another blog post on that. To read it, you can go to findingfreedomfinancial.com/33, the number 33, and you can find the blog post all about sales tax. All right, next, get insurance. So in order to protect all of the time and money that you are investing into this business, you want to make sure that you have the appropriate insurance in place to cover all of it. So consider liability insurance to help protect against any accidents, property insurance to help protect all the stuff in your business, right? All of your inventory. And if you're going to have employees, you also may need to have workers' compensation insurance. So I would work with a local insurance agent to see what your state requires and what would be best for your business. All right, next, set your store policies. So before you ever make your first sale, create clear and consistent store policies that address returns, exchanges, shipping. This not only helps keep you organized, but it also sets expectations for your customers. And you want to make sure that these policies are clearly displayed in your store, on your website, as well as printed on any receipts. That way it sets that expectation for the customers, and you're not having to, be put on the spot if you ever have a customer comes back wanting to exchange or return anything that is well beyond your store policy guidelines. All right, number 7, I think we're on. Choose a point of sale and inventory management system. So inventory is the lifeblood of your business, right? You want to make sure that you have a point of sale system that can help you track that and be able to run reports so you can see what's selling, what's not, what you have incoming, what's been delivered. And you also want to make sure that it can track the cost of the items, because that is going to be an essential piece of your bookkeeping, is tracking your cost of goods sold. And you want to be able to get that directly from your point of sale and inventory management system. All right, number 9 is to set up your bookkeeping system. All right, you didn't think we were going to get all the way through a bookkeeping podcast episode without talking about your bookkeeping, right? So you need to set up a system to help you track every single penny that is flowing in and out of those business, bank, and credit cards that we opened a few steps ago. If you're in the very early stages of your business, you might be able to get by using a specialized spreadsheet, but at some point you will want to upgrade to a bookkeeping software such as Wave, Xero, or my personal favorite is QuickBooks Online. And related to your bookkeeping, you also want to make sure that you have a system set up to organize and save all of your receipts and invoices to go along with all of those transactions. If you're old school, you can just use a filing cabinet. If you're a little more tech savvy, you can use like a Google Drive software or a Google Drive folder structure or a software such as HubDoc. But making sure that you are keeping your receipts, statements, reports, all of that organized is going to be a big piece of your bookkeeping process, because if you're ever audited, you might need to show any of those receipts and statements and report as proof of the money flowing in and out of your business. So keep them safe, keep them organized, and not just shoved in a shoebox, okay? And if you want to learn more about how to set up your own bookkeeping system, I do have a free masterclass for you on my website. It's at findingfreedomfinancial.com/masterclass. And it'll help talk through the foundations of setting up a bookkeeping system for your own business. All right, number 10 is setting up a cash flow or budgeting plan. So it can be so easy to let all the flashy new merchandise, software, technology pull you in, and it is really easy to let your spending get out of control. So make sure before you spend way more money than you need to, set a plan for your money, okay? This includes setting aside a portion of each sale for taxes, for paying yourself, and to reinvest to purchase more inventory, and setting aside money, obviously, to cover all of the overhead operating costs as well. So there are 2 different resources that I love referring to clients that explain 2 different ways that you can approach this. One is the Profit First method. It's based on the book Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. And the other is, I think it's just called Cash Flow Made Simple, but it's based out of a chapter in the book How to Grow Your Small Business by Donald Miller. These are both fantastic books. I love both of them. I did do another blog post as well on the Profit First method. You can find that at findingfreedomfinancial.com/29. And that'll kind of help walk you through the Profit First method for a retail business because it is slightly different than how the book lays it out. But still a super great way to help you kind of keep your spending in check and help you manage the money in your business. All right, guys, that's it. So just a quick recap, the 10 things to do in your business to help protect yourself and to set you up for long-term success. Number 1, choose the right entity type. Number 2, get an EIN. 3, get all the necessary business licenses and permits. Number 4, open a business bank account and credit card if you use credit cards. 5, get your necessary sales tax permits. Number 6, get the right insurance. 7, set your store policies. 8, choose a point of sale or inventory management system, point of sale system and an inventory management system. Number 9, set up your bookkeeping system. And 10, set up a cash flow or budgeting plan. So I may not be able to help when it comes to your licenses and insurance, but if you need any help with the bookkeeping side of your business, then I am your gal. There are multiple different ways that we can help support you here at Finding Freedom Financial Services, no matter what your budget is. So from bookkeeping templates for Shopify sellers, a QuickBooks course specifically for retail boutiques, and our done-for-you services for those of you that don't ever want to think about your bookkeeping again, all right? We would love to be able to help and support you as you continue to grow your business. To learn more about our offerings here at Finding Freedom, it's at findingfreedomfinancial.com/work-with-me. I'll link it down below in the show notes if you're interested in any of our services. But otherwise, that's all I have for you guys today. Be sure to tune in next week for another episode of the Boutique Bookkeeper Show. I'll see you there. Hey there, and thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope that I shared something that helped you feel just a little bit more confident in understanding all the numbers in your boutique business. If you found this helpful, don't forget to go and leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. That's the best way for other boutique owners just like you to find this podcast so I can help them feel just a little bit more confident in their numbers as well. If you have any questions about what you heard today, hop on over to Instagram and send me a DM at Finding Freedom Financial. I'll be back again real soon, but in the meantime, go implement or take action on something you learned today. I promise your future self will thank you.